Does this new life of charity concern all men? The answer is yes. It concerns all men, but ultimately, that does not mean that all the men on earth are living today. Saint Teresa D'Avila, to describe things, said this: the earth in fact is a big, like an immense kingdom, with fields, woods, and in the center, a castle, and in the center of the castle, the room of Prince, the royal prince who reigns over all this universe. Well, there are men outside the castle. They work in the fields. It's hard. They do not know what they do on earth. But all that they live is prepared by the prince, for a day to introduce them into the castle, in the most intimate party. Thus, they experience misery, happiness, without even knowing what is the purpose of this life. But these misfortunes and pleasures prepare them, in any case, a modest heart. Even the Gentiles learn the poverty of the heart through the trials of their lives. One day or another, in this life or at the hour of death, the prince, all of a sudden, will come and get them, and he will explain to them what he was doing in his kingdom, and what is the purpose of their lives. So suddenly, everything will make sense to them. And then, there are people who have had the chance, from this land, to enter the castle. It is the prince who came to earth and who, to show that it was possible, came, died on a cross, after teaching all that, and was resurrected. Those people who have had the great fortune to receive this grace, ahead of their brethren, in the castle and on earth already, can't tell them about it, and they do not have a chance to believe it yet. Only in this castle, there are two kinds of rooms. There are rooms where the servants are and they work. They work for that master whose existence they know, but they do not know his heart. They are the servants of God. We can say that Islam, Judaism, are in the castle. They know that there is one God, but they refuse to love him, as an intimate, and especially Muslims. They say, he is too great, he is the master, and we are his servants. So they are in the kitchen and they do their work, humbly. They too are arranged, they are prepared by the master of the castle, to one day enter the central rooms, but not for the moment. It will happen to them from death, except for those who will receive the faith, in this life. And then, there are some people who have received the grace of living inside the chatelain's intimate rooms. These are the people who had the chance to know Christ, who knew that the Prince was the Christ made man. And this Christ revealed his heart. So those dared to enter where there is the living room, where you can eat with the Master. Some of them have even entered the nuptial chamber, and we know that all without exception, when we are saved, we will be the only one of this Prince, in the bridal chamber. This metaphor of Saint Teresa, in her book called The Inner Castle, shows how every man is called to unite with God in the beatific vision, but that the paths are more or less close. Only the paths that are in the living rooms of the castle where the good Master enters and where we know his heart, only these people have new life and live life of grace. But there are religions that have more or less there. Islam, being, I would say, a religion of servants, disposes very closely since it knows that there is a good teacher. Buddhism, who does not know that there is a God, thinks that the world simply does not have to face it in order not to suffer. These are people who are outside the castle yet. But sometimes, if their heart, confronted with this religion, becomes very humble, they go much further than us. When this greeting is offered to them, at the hour of death,